Hi, this is Joe Dutkiewicz. I was going to go acid on you. This is Tuesday, May 16th, and wanted to. Uh, Perhaps you were here because you're confused or curious, more curious about what does got to do with it? Well, we'll get to that in just a minute. But over the weekend, I was taking a workshop by mentors, Paul and Roddy, and in that workshop, we had a great opportunity to learn about our boundaries. What invisible boundaries? There's 72 of them. That's the amazing thing to me. 72 invisible boundaries we put up because we are not capable of being aware of them. Or if we are, it takes a lot to work through them. Sometimes, such as willingness. Are you willing to go beyond, to break through that barrier that prevents you from committing? Really great stuff. Really, hey, Eric, welcome. Glad you could make it. So, what we're teaching is about and you'll find out what is in just a minute. But oh, there it is. Another Hi, Lisa. Welcome. What does have to do it? As maybe you remember back in your grade school classes when you were learning to write sentences, and the teacher said, the general sentence will end with the mighty period. Mighty period. So you put that little dot in, and then you have to be told, now make sure there's a space between that period and the next sentence. You know, we operate in that space, whether we know it or not. We operate in that space quite a bit. But what we do is that sometimes we stumble. We think about, what is the next sentence? What is the next thought I'm going to give? It may be in a conversation, and then your eyes go off to the side, and you're thinking, oh, what is it? But instead of pausing, instead of just being quiet, because we can't live in the quiet, we have to fill it with something, we end up with or or last night in a meeting somebody said oops. It became a new word, oops, because they were catching their ums. But what is happening in that period, or that space between the period and the next sentence that we're going to utter? We're thinking back as to what we just said, and we're thinking back to, where are we going with this? What is the thought? Where is the end result? Where are we taking this? It may be a story that we're trying to. Hi, this is Joe Dutkiewicz again with Part 2. I hope you come over, Lisa and Eric, that you come over from the other video. For some reason, I get a timeout after 1 minute. Something about the world wants me to say everything in 1 minute and then stop. That's impossible. There's so much to tell. There's so many thoughts, so many things that we need to explore together. One of the aspects we were talking about is what happens in that space between what we just said and what we're about to say. And usually there's a period there. It might be a question mark, might be an exclamation mark. We are taking time to reflect. We're taking time to think, okay, what is it that I just said? Or, hey, Lisa, welcome back. What is it that we're trying to say? What did we say? Well, maybe we need the time to recall from our memory something that we're telling a story, and we needed to remember a particular part that we really wanted to nail right, because we wanted to make sure that we were doing something, that we're able to tell the story because we got someone captured. Hi, Jen, welcome. So as we think about that space, though, our mind is really thinking about our experience, where we're at, what are we doing, but it's also getting ready for the next one, and that's what we do in life. We're thinking, for the most part, we're thinking, but we don't capture those thoughts. We just let them go. How many times have you saw someone and they're thinking and they're ready to say something and they just totally lost the thought or their train of thought? And then we joke about it. It's a senior moment, or it's a brain burp. We just let it go. I'm reminded back. I was living in the Midwest for over 50 years, and each autumn it was just a beautiful opportunity to see trees just aligned with color. It was like an artist had painted a fireplace and had splashed each of those colors of orange and yellow and red on the trees. And it was just so majestic. It was awesome to see. And then a wind would come by, and depending on whether it was dry or whether the frost just happened that morning, and it would take all those leaves and push them off. We would fly away. Now, some would land near the tree, some would land up against a fence or down the road, and some would just disappear completely. Isn't that like our thoughts? Some of them, when we have them, aren't too far away, but they drop. We don't really pick them back up again. We may look at them and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, I got to do that on my task list. I got to put that on my task list, and then we just let it go. Sometimes the bigger thoughts, the ones that are really important to us, just get pushed to the side, or they keep on going. They're lifted on the wind, the currents, and they just never stop. They just disappear out of our sight forever. Our senior moment. And it's a shame, because that is really where that thought might have been the one that's critical to healing a division in your family. Or maybe one that you were supposed to praise somebody or recognize them at work. Help them realize how important they are. We get busy and we allow our thoughts sometimes to just go because we're so busy about the doing that we forget to think. As we work on these opportunities, let's take a breath. Let's breathe in and breathe out like we did yesterday and clear the mind. So as you go, if you do this enough, you practice the breathing, you'll breathe and you'll pause, and you won't say for one thing, but you'll also think about your thought, and you'll be able to develop it better. Because a thought that's verbalized in front of others, given to others, either through video or placed on a recording or in some way delivered to others, helps them to think about it, helps them to feel it. It helps them to maybe add to it, to develop it, to marinate, to grow it into something greater. Let's think about all the things that we have accomplished in this world. We see them, right? We see the man on the moon. We experience the ability to drive down the road at 70 miles an hour because somebody thought about putting concrete out that allows us to go at high speeds. The car that allows us to drive on those roads. Right? Those were all thoughts brought out, but shared and grown, led to an apex of what can we do and how can we do it better. There's a quote that comes to mind, and it came out of this workshop, and I latched onto it and been thinking about this, and I want to share it with you because I think it's really a fantastic opportunity to encapsulate our day. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, then you're merely floating. Let me say that again. If you don't know why you are doing what you are doing, then you're merely floating. If we're just doing things down the day, the daily task, if we are just capturing our daily work, are we feeling satisfied? Are we feeling fulfilled? Probably not. We're probably not doing our best. There are many times when I have let those thoughts go. I've just merely floated along, and days turned into weeks, weeks into months. For a couple of years in about 2012, well, maybe before that, 2009. So 2009, 2012. There are periods in there that I could have sworn just were a day, but they were months. I was lost in the process at work. I was working 60 hours. I was just stressed. I was just trying to get along. And I forgot something important to myself. I forgot to invest in myself, to grow, to take that pause and really say, to say, what am I doing? Why am I just floating along? Maybe that's our discussion for our thought for today. Maybe our challenge for today is, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And where are we going? Another great thought that came out of the workshop. I wish it was mine, but I tweaked it a little bit. When you discover your design, you can uncover your gifts. And when you develop your gifts, you turn them into talents, and that allows you to turn and live your destiny. Let's think about what it is that's important to us today. What's important for us to reach? What is important? And it could be the family around you. It could be a call that you need to make to someone that needs to hear from you. It might be something that is right in front of you that's causing division. It's causing grief. It's causing stress in the society around you. Reach out. There probably is a couple of other people. There probably are a couple of other people there that are having that same thought and wanting to get together to resolve it, to solve it, to make it better. Let's make a difference in the world today. It's important. Don't be that leaf that floats along forever, out of sight, and never comes back. Hi, Mitch. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the time here together. Be that colorful leaf. Think into that colorful leaf. Why was it so colorful? What is it that you're doing about your day? What is the experience that you're having that is so powerful? And then, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to file it off in the photo album, or are you going to use it to make life better for someone else? Serve. Figure that destiny that you want. At the very least, what is important to you? Work on that. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Again, 10 o'clock tomorrow, and happy International Coaching Week for all our coaches that are listening. This is a great opportunity to buddy up with a coach or talk with your coach and really thank them for bringing out something greater within them, within you, that you're now starting to realize. That seed that is planted and has now blossomed into who you are today. If I can help, just let me know. Be well, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10. Bye.